Net zero is the latest eco-friendly buzzword, but what does it mean exactly? And what will happen if we don't reach it? Global warming, climate change, carbon footprint. These are all words we may have heard before, and in our journey to becoming a greener world, it can seem like there's a new buzzword every few years. The most recent development in green initiatives is the government's pledge to reach net zero by 2050. But how do we do this exactly? We asked an expert to find out more.
My name is Sam Fankhauser. I'm Professor of Climate Economics and Policy at the Smith School, which is at the University of Oxford. Net zero is the concept that we have to balance emissions of greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide in particular, into the atmosphere with the removal of carbon from the atmosphere. We need to have this balance to stabilize climate change. You can think of the atmosphere, this is a bit of a simplification, but you can think of the atmosphere as a bathtub. And the water that's flowing in has to be balanced by the water that's going out through the plug hole, otherwise water levels are rising. So we need that balance between carbon going into the atmosphere and carbon coming out of the atmosphere. If you don't do that, concentrations continue to rise and the climate continues to change.
A number of EU countries, including the UK, have set the goal of achieving net zero by 2050.
Well, it is the world. Globally, we have to meet net zero on a global scale. So it isn't just the UK which can solve the problem, but the UK can lead the way. The UK can lead by example. And the UK was the first country to start burning fossil fuels, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to be the first country to stop doing it. But it is a global problem.
In alignment with the Paris Climate Agreement, it's hoped that the sooner we achieve net zero, the quicker we can slow down the effects of climate change. There have already been some impressive changes made with the wide adoption of renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power. We are also seeing the uptake of hybrid electric vehicles on our roads. Although some of our habits have changed, there's still a long way to go when it comes to our net zero goal. Not reaching net zero could have serious implications, not just for the planet, but for humankind as well.
So we are already, our global mean temperatures are already about 1 degree higher than they were in pre-industrial times. So that's 1 degree compared to the 1.5, 2 degrees target that we have set ourselves. We can see what that 1 degree change is doing. We see unprecedented heat waves. The UK has just had a heat wave in the summer where we have reached temperatures of 40 degrees for the first time ever. Those are incidences that we can say have been made more likely because of climate change. 40 degrees temperature would have been possible before, but it would have been a very, very rare, unlikely event. Now those will become events that we see on a much more regular basis. We also see higher extreme events, more flash floods, more flooding in general, more hurricanes, more destructions that these events cause. So we're starting to see what climate change can do already in the sort of 1 degree world that we currently live in.
So, does this mean we're doomed?
I've been doing climate change research for about 30 years, and there's two trends in particular that make me optimistic that we can solve the problem. The first one is this societal awareness of climate change as a risk, this consensus that we now have that climate change is a problem that we need to address urgently, which cuts across all parts of society. That's a huge and important change that is encouraging. The second change that is very encouraging is that we start seeing some of the technological solutions that used to be on the drawing board a couple of years ago. We start seeing them coming through, and we start seeing them becoming competitive and cheaper. The drop in costs for renewable energy, for solar panels, for offshore wind has been amazing. The drop in the cost of batteries for electric cars is really very high. And those sorts of technological changes, they make a huge difference. They don't solve the problem on their own, but it's a huge and important change. It means we can start to see the pathway to net zero. It's no longer an abstract, modeled hypothesis. It's something that we know how to do.
So, there is hope, but what can we do as individuals to help?
Yeah, people are at the core of the net zero transition. It's us who have to drive it. And we have various functions. We are voters. We shouldn't underestimate that. We should tell our political leaders what we expect them to do. We should explain to them that addressing climate change gets them re-elected. So we have a role as voters. We have a role as workers. We all work for companies that emit carbon in one way or another, so we can help decarbonize our own companies where we work. And then obviously we are consumers, so we can reduce our own carbon footprint, the carbon footprint of our own households. And that starts at home. It starts with energy efficiency, using less energy in the way we heat our buildings and live at home. It has transport in it, how much we drive, where we drive to. Maybe we use different modes of transport, move to electric vehicles. It includes what we eat, and it includes how we dress. So it does include all our activities.
If you'd like to find out how your actions can directly impact net zero, use our free tool on uswitch.com.